Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch, the show where we make fun of movies that we have not seen based on nothing but their weird descriptions.
I'm Brantley.
And I'm Albert. Brantley is reading for us today for the first time in a couple days, Brantley.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I do not have a movie.
Oh, no.
I have a show.
Oh,
And
good.
now, some of this may sound familiar, but we have not done this.
Okay, why would it sound familiar, Brantley?
I'm just going to jump in. What we have is Monster Force.
That does already sounds familiar, yes.
From 1994.
Right?
Monster Force is a 13-episode animated television series created in 1994 by Universal Cartoon Studios and Canadian studio Lacewood Productions.
Okay.
So it is not the one you might be thinking of.
From the late 1970s?
1980. That's the previous
1980 is the very late 1970s.
one. Okay. This story is set in approximately 2020 and centers on a group of teenagers who, with the help of high-tech weaponry, fight off against classic Universal monsters and spiritual beings threatening humanity.
What, so they've got, like, Frankenstein and then also, like, the Nephilim? And, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other spiritual beings. Like, literal Satan?
We're fighting literal Satan. So, for those of you not picking up, this is remarkably similar to the Drac Pack, an episode we did previously.
Yes, if you haven't heard that one, you should definitely go listen to it.
That is one of my favorite episodes.
It is another animated show about teens who are
Universal
monsters.
Well, they're descended from them, but they're not. It's a different company.
Right, and then their grandpa Dracula comes and hangs out with them, who's the original Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not that.
No. This is owned and made by Universal. In the 90s. So throw that on top of it.
Yes. I thought that was the beginning of the description, and I was going to say...
No.
No, it's taking place... So it's taking place next year, so this could still happen, apparently.
Yeah.
You never know, with Trump.
Yeah. He is pretty Dracula. Some of the crew have personal vendettas. Example, one of them has the curse of the Wolfman that has been handed down through generations, and another had a family member taken away from her by Dracula. Doesn't say killed, he just stole a person.
Is that how it starts?
Yes, this is a description of the series as a whole.
It just starts with them having personal vendettas?
It's yes.
That's a weird way to
The first
start.
episode is them declaring it, probably.
So how does... Yeah, I mean, like, that's such a weird way to start
I'm
describing
imagining
somebody.
it's super
So
awkwardly
your
done,
friend,
too.
how is he? He has some personal vendettas. Well, I was hoping for, like, what's his favorite color, or does he like...
He has the curse of the Wolfman.
Superhero movies or whatever? That's not even a vendetta, though. That's just a curse.
I think he wants to kill the person who made him a werewolf.
Okay.
Maybe. Or the one who started the Wolfman curse. Also, it's owned by Universal, so they can call him the Wolfman. While others fight for mankind out of a sense of altruism. Because the other ones, some have vendettas, other ones are like, nah, I'm just good, not cool with monsters. I'm gonna help people out.
That's so... Also, like, I don't understand how one thing leads to the other.
They formed a team.
No, right, but some of them they have a vendetta.
Uh-huh.
They have things that they would like to avenge.
Yes.
All right? And they're a team that's going to try to avenge things.
Yes.
I'm glad we've gotten away from that in modern life. But then the other ones are just like, why don't we just get out and help people? And I don't know how those two goals, like, mesh up.
They probably, like, met previously, like, prior to the friends. Like, we should form a team. All right, I'm a Wolfman, so I guess I can help. And I hate Dracula.
Like, every other episode, like, in one episode, they're, like, hunting down this guy who's given, like, the werewolf guy a swirly, which was really bad because of all his hair. And then the next episode, they're, like, helping homeless people.
They're arguing over which is a better use of their time.
Yes.
We could be stopping Dracula, yeah, but this lady needs to cross the street. Anyways, the team is made up of Dr. Reed Crawley, alias Doc, Luke Talbot, alias the Wolfman.
Is he descendant from...
I believe he's descended from Larry, yes.
Okay.
Trip Hansen, alias the Martial Artist.
That's his alias?
That's his alias. Lance...
That's not an alias. That's just like a description of one of his skills.
Lance Magruder, alias Powerhouse Marksman. I feel like Lance is quicker to say in this situation.
I don't think these people know what aliases are.
I think this was a 90s series made to sell toys.
Yeah, but still, like, you could just call him Marksman, right? Like, Marksman is a cool, like, comic booky name for a character. it's Marksman. He's coming. And then like you can have a good, but when you add Powerhouse on the front of it, it's just lame.
See, no, he's a really good shot, but he can also punch real good.
Okay.
Also, the martial artist probably taught him how to punch real good. These are my favorite two than the last two. Shelly Frank.
Right? Yes.
So dumb. Alias the Psychic.
What?
The Psychic.
So she's not the monster.
No, Frankenstein is alias the monster.
So is she...
The real question is this the monster that people call Frankenstein? Or is it just a Frankenstein people keep calling a monster because he made a monster?
Wait,
who's the real
did
monster?
Shelley Frank make the monster? Frankenstein's monster?
I don't know. I haven't watched the show.
Okay. No, that's fair. I thought maybe you knew from having read the descriptions.
I pulled this like before Christmas, so.
Okay. We'll rediscover it together.
Yeah. Now for some episodes.
Yes.
Episode 1, The Sign of the Dragon.
That's a cool name.
Yeah. Dracula and Renfield abduct Luke and try to destroy his humanity and make him embrace being a monster by forcing him to kill the rest of the monster force.
That sounds pretty dark.
Strong start for the series. This is the 90s.
Right, yeah.
Compare this to Drag Pack, where it was the evil villain was still in color.
I am a little bit confused about like the timeline here because this is the far off future of 2020.
Yeah.
And like all of these
that's
more or less happened realistically at some point in the past.
Yeah.
But then Renfield's still alive somehow.
Maybe he's a vampire. But like a lesser vampire who has to serve him.
I forget how he ends up in the book.
I think they drop him, I think Dracula kills him. It's been a while since I've read Dracula.
It's not a great book.
It's okay. It's found footage as a book.
Yeah, I'm not like... It's not great. It's weird how some things got into our vernacular just because of, like, the monsters. Frankenstein's hard to read, too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the Wolfman didn't have a book.
No. Episode 2, Stalking the Beast.
Okay. Stalking the Beast, yeah.
Bella, the Wolfman who cursed Luke's family with lycanthropy, attempts to get a hold of a cane that can allegedly control all werewolves. Which is a nice cut to the original movie, because Bela Lugosi played a werewolf named Bella who bit Larry Talbot before he beat him to death.
I was going to ask if there was... I mean, it's obvious it's a Bela Lugosi reference.
Yeah.
That's just, like, way on the nose. There's also a cane in the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a silver cane, right? And then his dad beats him to death with it because his dad loves him, because that's a plot element in the first movie, which they never mention again?
It's not in the first movie. That's just silver kills werewolves. Is in the third movie that someone who loves you can kill you with silver, and then he shows up after that movie. So clearly she didn't love him.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Or they just have no idea and they're making it up as they go along.
Very much that, because there wasn't really hard werewolf lore at that point. So they can kind of do what they want. It's just like, hey, sometimes dudes turn into wolves. Occasionally it has something to do with the full moon.
I remember the Someone Who Loves You because they bring it back for American Werewolf in London. I think it's a cool twist to have on the werewolf lore.
Episode 3, Immortality of Evil.
I mean, sadly, probably a very accurate title, yes.
Also, this has to do with vampires, specifically Dracula.
Right.
Who is the villain if you haven't caught on. Like, he's the big bad. Dracula assembles other ancient vampires to help him perform a ritual that will supposedly remove all of their weaknesses and turn them into gods.
Why would Dracula let other people in on that act? He doesn't seem like the kind of person who'd be like...
he probably needs help and is just planning to betray them afterwards.
Yeah, okay, that tracks,
be,
I guess.
Dracula about it. Who do you think the other vampires are? We had, like, Carmilla.
There's Varney.
Oh, that one.
That was like the original vampire novel, Varney the Vampire. And then, like, Dracula got written and everybody forgot about Varney.
Right.
So...
you think we have like a knockoff Orlok?
I'm trying to remember where Orlok is from.
He's from Nosferatu, the ripoff of Dracula, because Bram Stoker's widow said, no, you can't make a Dracula movie. They're like, okay.
That's a good... Okay, yeah, I like that idea.
That's why, he's the bald, like, really long-fingered rat face thing.
That's a great movie, by the way. Yeah. Speaking of, like, old stuff, whether
German
it's good or bad, that one's a good one. I love the like, and they kind of try to get back to it in the strain, but the image of vampire as disease in that movie, where Dracula's just going from port to port, and everywhere he touches, it's just a title screen or whatever, right? But everywhere he touches, death follows him, and like it's like a plague ship essentially that he's on. That's even cooler than what they do in the book where like he's just eating everybody on the ship.
Yeah. All right, so episode 4, Return of the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Woo! Fishman!
Hilariously, I am wearing a Creature from the Black Lagoon shirt, and I didn't even plan that.
Oh, I can't see it because you got your hoodie on over it. It's not that cold, Brantley.
Yeah, well, I don't like short sleeves.
That's fair.
A greedy researcher's plundering of a sunken city draws the ire of the Creature in the Black Lagoon.
It's
just...
I have questions about this. Like, normally, so my vision of a sunken city is almost always, like, out in the ocean somewhere, or at least in a very large body of water. The creature always struck me as kind of a freshwater monster.
He's from a lagoon. But it's in the Amazon.
Shape of Water, he's in salt water at the end, kinda. Or is it brackish water?
I haven't seen the Shape of Water, and is that universal, or is that just a fish man?
It's just a fish man, but
Okay,
it's
so-
very much intended to...
Well-
I can dream.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Shape of Water, really?
I have not. I've been planning on it.
Do you have a Blu-ray player?
I do.
I will lend you my Blu-ray of it.
Okay, thank you.
I bought it from the Red Box. It's beautiful.
Episode 5, we have Dark Deception.
I'm sad there's not more on these. These are all like single line type.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think's going? So
There's also less just stupid goofiness versus Drag Pack, which I am unfortunately going to be comparing most of this to.
Right.
Because that's why I love Drag Pack. I've actually watched some episodes since we did that episode.
Hit me again with the description of the first, or the one we just read with the...
A greedy researcher's plundering of a sunken city draws the ire of from the creature.
Okay.
The Gill Man. He's like, hey,
I'm just trying to put together... It's just the 90s. But my mind is like, what is he researching where he's also like, I'm taking all of this for me! Me!
I mean, maybe he's Indiana Jones style archaeology.
I guess that's
where
possible.
He destroys half
it's,
the
I mean,
city.
it's very likely that that's what he is. He's a literal cartoon villain. I should not expect more of this, Brantley. But I do wonder, like, what's the point of the pirates and blazing the monster machines? So I'm allowed to wonder about this.
I know.
Like,
Also,
what are they pirating? They don't ever
I've
steal
only looked
anything.
at, like, brief pictures, so I can't really remember how it looked. But in my head, this is all done in the art style of the SWAT cats, so it's at least got that awesomeness to it.
Every single time somebody brings up the Thundercats, I think they're talking about SWAT cats.
Those are two very different groups of cats.
Yeah. Sadly, no SWAT cats for me.
Remarkably two different shows.
I only ever saw one episode of SWAT cats, and it made such an impression on me.
It was so good. There's
they
an episode...
kicked a barrel of oil out of a fighter jet onto another fighter jet and blew up the second fighter jet.
There's one episode where there's a villain who's basically the lizard from Spider-Man.
Right.
He opens a time portal and unleashes prehistoric Earth onto the city, and they gotta fight dinosaurs in their jet.
How is that
amazing.
Not the one we're talking about now? Like, it can't be
'Cause
worse
I've
than the
seen
original
it.
Transformers. No. I mean, like, how are we remaking Thundercats and not that?
Because the people who are remaking Transformers were kids in the 80s.
Okay, fine.
So in like 10-ish years, we'll have Thundercats. Also, they're working to remake.
You mean SWAT cats?
SWAT cats, yeah.
You make the mistake.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, episode 5, Dark Deception. The
This
Monster
sounds like
Force.
a Transformer subtitle.
That's what they're called, the Monster Force. Don't forget.
Okay.
They storm Dracula's castle with the assistance of a cantankerous and old-fashioned vampire hunter named Abraham Stoker. Bram Stoker. Bram is short for Abraham.
Right.
Which is why he named Abraham Van Helsing that, because he was his favorite character.
Okay, that's where I get there. Okay. I didn't realize, I never put together that Bram and Abraham...
Yeah. I didn't either. I was watching a documentary about that, and they pointed out that he named him that because he was very much his favorite character. Which is why he just knows everything about vampires.
He's literally the author just in the book. He's like, man, how am I going to get... Again, not a great book, Dracula. Because you can tell the author got to a point where he's like, they need to know how to defeat the vampire.
None of these people would logically believe in vampires.
I'll go into the book and tell them how to do it. With no other explanation other than that I'm a doctor. Yes.
Alright, so next we have episode 6. He walks again. Hotep, not Imhotep, an evil Egyptian sorcerer who was mummified alive, is awakened by archaeologists and pitted against the monster force by Dracula.
He wasn't dead or anything. They just got him out of bed.
He's just a mummy, and I love the idea that Dracula didn't bring him up. He's just like, oh, they dug up a mummy? I can use that. That's kind of our theme this series. Monsters.
So, there's not a mummy in the monster force, right? Or did I miss?
No, there's...
Okay.
Because from what we read, there was just like a Wolfman, a bunch of humans, a psychic who was also human, and the Frankenstein monster.
They don't have like a low-key vampire?
I mean, not from maybe he's the martial artist.
That's a good point. Although I don't know why you're like, if you have the option to call yourself the vampire as your cool name, or you could call yourself the martial artist.
Maybe he didn't get to choose his name. Maybe Doc chose the names, and he chose to call himself Doc because he's a doctor.
I also am annoyed. The previous episode, they introduced Bram Stoker as a character who is like Van Helsing, right? But then they already have a Doc character who I assumed was going to be the Van Helsing-esque person of this group.
Right.
I don't know. They're doubling
Maybe
down on
he's like a generic, I know how to fight monsters, and Bram Stoker is like, I know vampires to a T.
Okay, fair enough.
So episode 7, we have Dark City.
Good movie. Decent movie anyway.
Okay. The monster force becomes trapped inside a malevolent living city that feeds on the life force of those that lures into it. This is probably the most interesting episode so far.
This sounds amazing.
This is a really good concept.
This sounds like a Doctor Who episode.
Also, I love the fact that, from my point of view, you could add any of these, also there's a werewolf, and I become interested in them. Because I like werewolves. That's what we've established.
Where do you think this city is? Like, it's a city.
Vague European country. Well, it's a city. Yeah, somewhere in Europe. It could be ancient city.
Okay.
I'm just picturing skyscrapers until I started thinking about where it would be.
I was thinking about, like, maybe it's underground somewhere, or they end up in a different dimension.
It's probably something like that. So maybe it looks like a modern city. Which for some
it's
reason,
like a mirror city, right? Like it's like New York, but there's no people, and then they find themselves getting sick,
of skeletons and stuff, and they start getting weak.
Yeah,
and the monster's the only one who's fine because of the monster.
Maybe.
Right.
He's alive though.
Yeah.
If there's a vampire, one of them, he would be the one who'd be okay because he's not technically alive.
That's fair. Episode 8: Prisoner of Caligula.
Whoa! What? Suddenly we're talking about Caligula here.
Caligula? I don't know. My brain said Caligula. I don't think it's actually Caligula.
Oh, because Caligula was like known for like debauchery and like actual monster stuff. Like,
I mean, we get Dracula.
I mean like
I know.
kills people
Yeah.
and rapes people in real life, and like it's according to people who came later who may have had it in for him. Like had garden parties where he used human people on the sticks as torches, and like
He's a bad dude.
Yeah.
A real bad
Doesn't
dude.
really fit in with like the fun 90s Dracula thing they're going for here.
Yeah. Anyways. While the rest of the team deals with the poltergeist, that's the B plot.
Yeah.
Trip and Lance are taken prisoner by a secluded secret society.
Remind me again who Trip and Lance are?
Well, Lance is powerhouse marksman, and Trip is the martial artist.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
The two boring ones.
They had to give them their own episodes so
Yeah,
they could sell more toys.
Yeah. And finally, we have episode 9, The Rage of Frankenstein's Bride. Because he's been, not hanging out with her throughout the entire series.
Yeah, what's up with that?
The long-lost mate of Frankenstein's monster resurfaces in Europe, on the run from a mad scientist who wants to replicate the process that created her and the monster.
So, I'm confused about...
I believe Frankenstein is the monster, because...
Right, is he a member of the group?
He is.
He's hanging with these teens, but he's like Edward style in... what's the name of the movie? I forgot. Twilight, where he's like 150 years old?
Yeah.
But he was... I assume he looks like one of them.
But with stitches.
But with stitches, right? He's still like a hot teen. Frankenstein. Don't Google that. I don't know what happens if you do, but I'm just suggesting it's probably
You'll
not
either
great.
love it or you won't.
It won't be on Tumblr anymore, we can promise you that.
I mean, it could be safe for work.
It could be.
It probably won't.
Do you think he has a love interest in the group? Who's
I mean,
like really mad to
maybe-
find out that he was previously involved?
Maybe Frank Shelley? Or, sorry.
Yeah,
Shelley,
no,
Frank.
I would definitely assume that she would be the one who would be interested in Frankenstein.
Mhm.
And then they're like, "Oh, you were literally married already?" And I'm just now finding out about this? And he's like, "It was a formality?"
We never actually went through with it. She screamed and then everything burned.
I haven't seen that. I haven't finished watching that movie yet.
I
It's
hate
not
that movie
great.
so much.
Cool
Like,
design though.
It's yeah, it is, and it's treated as like the Universal monster movie. It's the worst Universal monster movie, in my opinion. You're allowed to disagree, people.
I haven't. I have watched The Mummy. I have not gotten through Bride of Frankenstein, so it's difficult for me to make that call.
I mean, you managed to get through The Mummy.
Yeah, but I had to. Like, I was going to do a podcast on it, so it's like, I have to do this for, like, work stuff, so I guess I'm doing this. Is that all?
That's all I have. There are 13 episodes. I can only find 9 episode descriptions, and even those were very short.
That's fine. This sounds fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously shades of Drac Pack, like we've already discussed. It seems very much inferior in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
For several reasons. First off, because the descriptions are not that great.
Yeah. For one, Drac Pack felt like this is a fun idea. This one felt like we can sell toys with this.
Yes, that had definitely happened in between the time there. When Drac Pack was around, I don't think that
it was 1980,
toys,
so like
that legislation hadn't passed.
Had
yet.
it be going, then yeah, they would be pumping out toys with like different with Drac stirs and stuff like that. But yeah, by this point, it's like there's like probably 4 or 5 different versions of every character at least, and like a whole Dracula's Castle playset or something.
Yeah, I don't begrudge
I'm not
TV
against
shows
this.
the ability to sell toys, but
I am a Transformers fan. I am by no means going to disagree with that.
Right, but there is something to be said for an era when, if you wanted to make a show for kids, it had to appeal to the kids on its own merits.
Yeah.
And not just...
Because look at this thing you can buy. Tell your parents about it now.
Yeah. Although there is... I mean, it has to be in some level appealing or they won't want to play with the toy. So I guess there's still some of that.
Yeah.
Old stuff is better than new stuff, apparently. It ain't like it was in my day.
Again,
Nothing was
I
like it was
own
in
and
my
have
day.
watched the original Transformers series. We've done better.
My childhood was weird, so...
Your childhood didn't have a TV.
That's fair. That's true. Are we good here?
We're good on that.
Okay.
Is that good for an episode?
Yeah, that's good. No,
Okay,
I
cool.
just want to make sure we had said our piece. I'm sure I will cut some of that out.
Cool.
That's how editing works. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this episode, don't forget to tell a friend about it. Check us out over on Twitter. I'm at Albert_Berg. Brantley is at Adma Brantley 91. And we have like a Twitter where for the podcast, but we don't ever use it, so don't go there. I mean, you can.
Go there and
do what you
encourage him
want.
to start using it more.
Maybe I will. Maybe one day. One day my prince will come, Brantley. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.